Well, Jay, we're here at the entrance to your tree farm, and thank you for letting us come out and see it and learn from you what you've learned over the years with it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing the stops along the way and seeing what you've done out here and hearing what your experience has been.
Well, it's more fun for me to show than probably for you to see, but it's been a great time.
Wonderful. Well, Jay, we're out in the middle of your tree farm here, and I got to admit, this is pretty pine, a high site. Tell me a little bit about the history of your tree farm.
This was owned by the city, and they bought 8 pieces of property and put it all together to make a reed filtration plant for their sewage disposal. And eventually they figured out that that wasn't practical, so they had it, and they clear cut about 2/3 of it. It was mainly big hardwoods, big old hardwoods, and then sold it. And I bought it from the man who bought it in September 1999.
Wow.
16 years ago.
Clear-cut land in '99,
Yep.
and look where we are now. Well, this may seem obvious, but I've got to ask, why did you decide to become a tree farmer?
Well, the decision was predicated on I was going to retire from UTMB, and I grew up in West Texas, and not many trees in West Texas, and they called anything taller than you were was a tree. So I always enjoyed trees. Trees have a biology not too dissimilar from animals, and so that was the only part I had any experience with. So we did it. That was going to be our retirement and our entertainment.
Very good. And has it been entertainment for you?
Oh yeah. We come most weekends, most weeks for about 3 or 4 days. We miss a few.
Yeah.
But we both enjoy it, and we both enjoy working in it. It's mentally and physically stimulating. Read about it, take courses, go with the forester.
And when we came up this morning, you were out on your knees with a machete, getting your physical and mental exercise.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, at this point, why don't we take a look at some other place on your property so we can get a better feel for the overall piece.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Well, Jay, we're in a little different setting down in here. We're in some of the bottomland that you have, and we see different varieties of trees, different species of trees down here. What I wanted to ask you is, I know it didn't always look like this, so could you give me an idea of some of the obstacles you've had to deal with since you got this tree farm and started it?
Sure. The part that was clear cut had regrown with mainly hardwoods, water oaks, and privet, and tala, Chinese tala, a few China berries, but mainly that. And so we had to find a way to get rid of those. The foresters helped us, and so we've done that. And we did a good bit by hand of the part that we didn't want to get rid of. So this was older. We wanted to keep it, so we went through it and killed the talas and killed the privet. And so that is a big obstacle. The creeks, there are 3 live creeks and a bunch of ephemeral creeks. And we built 5 bridges to accommodate the machinery that came in to get rid of talas and so forth, level it. And then we've resurfaced those once.
I think you might describe the one I was asking you about earlier.
Yeah, the creek we built over, the bridge we built over Big Turkey Creek, every time it'd flood, it'd drop a ton of sand on each side and on top of the bridge. So we kept trying to shovel that off, and when the hardwood decking decayed, then we put a catwalk bridge across it, which let the sand through and solved that problem.
That may just help a lot of people that see this video later. They got a similar problem.
That was a big help, I tell you. I don't last very long shoveling sand.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I'm sorry, any other obstacles that you've come across that are of note?
Well, there's a lot of obstacles, but they're probably just routine things, trying to figure out how to get the trees growing. And as I told you, we planted a lot of bald cypress, and to plant those where they got some sun was a challenge, and we lost a lot of those because the surrounding trees overgrew them and shaded them out. Yeah. But in some of the sloughs, they did okay.
Well, good. Okay, so you experimented and you got some success.
Some success.
Well, Jay, we've talked about obstacles that you have faced here on the tree farm. We've talked about your goals, the things you saw in it when you got it. I would like to know, what are some of the benefits that you've realized from the tree farm and what you've done out here?
Yeah, there are a bunch of things that I think we could talk about. For one thing, when we do something out here, we see the results of it. And it may take a year or two or three or more, but nevertheless, you can see you've done something.
Yes.
Which is really good. We have taken some courses and learned about didn't know the names of the trees when I started. So that's been a great benefit. Then we learned how to plant. Keelan and Tim gave us a dibble and a bag to hold the trees, and that was an education. Then we've learned lots of practical things. The bridges were a practical experience. Even though we didn't build them, we learned how to use them and keep them up. The hunting we hunt once a year. The kids come up. I have son, daughter, the son-in-law hunts, and 3 grandsons come. That's a great event. They hunt, and I cook. So that works out pretty well. The other benefits, I guess, are physical. You have to stay active after you retire. That's really important. And so there's plenty of activity here to do. And I guess that sums it up pretty much.
Okay, well, those are good benefits.
Those are good benefits.
They're lasting benefits with the family involvement.
Yep.
Very good. Well, thank you. We'll go look at some other spots on your place.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Well, Jay, we're back at the entrance to your tree farm. We've seen some really interesting spots, and we've seen a lot of the work that you've done, the fruit of it at any rate. And we've crossed, what, 4 of the 5 bridges maybe, or all 5?
Well, not all 5 yet.
Not all 5 yet. Okay. So we've seen that. We've seen a lot of the work that you've put into this tree farm, and I just wanted to ask you, you've realized some benefits, you've faced some obstacles. What sort of future do you see for tree farming in Texas?
Oh, I think it ought to be great. It's such a nice thing to do, particularly if you've got family that would enjoy it too. Both to watch the trees, to learn the names, go hunting, all kinds of things. And it's peaceful.
It's peaceful.
Our kids didn't start out liking it, but they do now. And as they're all about to get out of college, they come back at least once a year. The oldest one, the son, we gave him half the farm, and he has that's picked up his interest a good bit. And he does lots of things when he comes. He's an engineer, and he helps us solve problems.
Good. Well, it's nice to be able to pass it on to the next generation.
It is.
It is. And listen, I want to thank you for letting us come out today. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and thanks for the cool weather you somehow got for us.
It takes a lot of planning, but you can.
Maybe that's that engineer's son.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jay.
Okay, it's my pleasure.